This is why main gaining is stupid for most people who want to focus on muscle growth. Main gaining is when you try and eat at or around your maintenance calories so that you don't lose or gain weight. Many people think it's more efficient to main gain and that it's healthier than bulking and cutting, and I'll be discussing these claims and more in this video to determine if you actually need to bulk and cut. So the first thing is you need to bulk eventually if you're going to main gain, because if you look at the first law of thermodynamics, it basically says energy can't be created or destroyed, it can only change forms. So if you want to have bigger muscles, you're going to have to get the energy from somewhere, and since you're not getting it from a caloric surplus, you're going to need to get it from somewhere else in your body, which is your fat stores. So you're basically turning fat into muscle. But you're going to need to bulk eventually because you only have so much body fat, because you're going to be staying at the same weight while you lose fat and your muscles get bigger. So eventually you're just going to get to a point where you're so lean you can't really take up any more body fat to build muscle, and you're just going to be stuck being lean if you don't bulk, and then end up taking steroids like Alex Eubank. Okay, maybe not all that, but you're gonna need to bulk eventually. Now, one thing me and main gainers agree on is some people just shouldn't use it. If you're particularly skinny, you gotta bulk, or if you're fat, you should cut. So if you're skinny or lean, you need to bulk, but what about if you're skinny fat? Now, this is like pretty much one of the only cases where I think main gaining can actually be good for like 1 to 2 months if you're a beginner, because you don't even need a calorie surplus to make good gains if you've never trained before. And then once you main gain for a little bit, then you can go on to a bulk after like a month or 2 of main gaining if you started out as skinny fat. Now, for people who are actually fat or obese, I'd recommend that they cut, because it's just so much faster than main gaining. Because when you're fat, you're gonna already have a difficult time building muscle, which is why I wouldn't recommend that you main gain, because you have lower testosterone levels due to your excess of body fat. And no matter your body composition, main gaining can just be very discouraging because it's quite slow compared to bulking and cutting, which isn't necessarily bad. Because a lot of people say, oh, bulking and cutting, and not a lot of people, just like Greg Doucette, they say that bulking and cutting are not very healthy because you're just getting incredibly lean and then becoming fat. When cutting, most people should stay somewhere between 10 to 20% body fat, because you can still be quite healthy within this range, because no one is advocating you bulk up until you get obese and you cut down to 5% body fat, because bulking is the time where you're going to make the most gains. So we bulk to a reasonable body fat percentage for you, and then we cut down to another reasonable body fat percentage, and then the cycle continues and you make gains, because it is unhealthy to be incredibly fat or be incredibly lean, and you likely won't make gains if you are in either of these 2 areas. And bulking or cutting is healthier for you when you don't have huge calorie surpluses or deficits, because that could cause you to build a lot of excess fat or lose muscle. So I would recommend you don't have a surplus or deficit that goes over 500 calories, and I would generally recommend you have a surplus or deficit of around 200 to 300 calories, so that you're just doing a slight cut if you're cutting, or you're doing a lean bulk if you're bulking. Also, another thing when you're cutting, to make sure you barely lose any muscle, you should get a good amount of protein, like around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And as long as you don't cut or bulk incredibly quickly, you will be a lot healthier. All right, I hope this sums it up, the deal with main gaining. If you have any questions, comment below, because I read all of them. Bye.